Let Century Management Solutions get you to your next medical appointment. They specialize in non-emergency medical transportation, connecting patients to care, safety, reliability, and on time. Their advanced technology platform seamlessly coordinates patients, healthcare providers, insurers, and transportation partners all in one powerful network. With over 200 trusted transportation providers, they deliver scalable solutions backed by real-time tracking and complete transparency. Go to SENTRYMS.com.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. You see? Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show. We are discussing the Karmelo Anthony murder trial going on down there in Frisco, Texas. And it is heated, man. It is heated. The social media platforms are just full of people that are very divided on this. A lot of people know the story. I just, before the break, did a quick summary of what had happened. And from the looks of a lot of people on social media and some of the people even on television, on news programs, they don't seem to understand there is a big difference between being insulted and murdering someone and using a weapon to defend your life, because at that moment you feel your life was being threatened. It was in imminent danger of being taken. That is what self-defense is. It isn't about someone telling you to get up. It isn't about someone putting their hand on your shoulder. It isn't even about someone, if they would have dropped the N-bomb and punched him in the face, it doesn't even cover that. You have to feel that your life is in imminent danger of being taken. You are ready to be killed. Then self-defense is a case. And I've seen a lot of people that don't seem to understand that. They're trying to make they're trying to compare it to cases like George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. Well, Trayvon was unarmed, and George Zimmerman was an armed man, and he shot Trayvon Martin in self-defense. He actually won that case and was acquitted of murder. I see that case coming up now, and a lot of people that want to compare it to this case. They are not comparable. There was some type of verbal altercation between Trayvon and George Zimmerman. Trayvon escalated it to a physical altercation. He was punching George Zimmerman in the face and beating his head against a cement sidewalk. George Zimmerman had pictures of wounds on his head. His nose was broken. George Zimmerman had said that he felt he was ready to go unconscious. He had a gun. He thought that gun can be used against me. This guy wants to kill me. He's beating my head against cement. That was what that case was. And the jury decided, yeah, George Zimmerman had enough he could reasonably assume that if this were to continue, he wouldn't live through it. If you can reasonably assume, convince a jury, all the testimony, the witnesses, the evidence, and that jury goes, oh, yeah, if I was in that position, I would absolutely feel like my life was being threatened and I would have to do something, even to the point of using deadly physical force. And the jury agreed in the George Zimmerman case. Would you agree, based on the evidence we've seen so far, and I know we still have the defense's case coming up, but again, if they can't come up with something extraordinary, this doesn't look like much more than Karmelo Anthony was insulted. He did not want to leave the tent. When people told him to leave, he felt he was disrespected. And when the slightest touch was put on him, a hand on his shoulder, as many witnesses testified. He decided to kill the person that was touching him. Now, do you think that defense is going to be able to convince the jury that if they were in that position, they would have done the same thing? Every jury member sitting there would go, yeah, that sounds like a situation where I would have to kill somebody. I would have to take a life because my life was in imminent danger of being taken. I don't think so. I don't think any reasonable person would feel that that situation merits killing another person. So, like I said, that defense has their work cut out for them. Really does. Another little point of contention is the jury. When the jury was chosen last week, there was not one black person on the jury. And look, you have the right, the prosecution and the defense has the right to exempt certain people from the jury. They have a certain number of challenges that they can make against certain jurors. So if someone comes up and you ask a question, have you ever been the victim of this type of crime? And it's a crime that's similar to what had happened, the case that you're working on. I don't think the defense attorney would like to have somebody on the jury that has been through the same thing. They might have some bias in their head and go, yeah, I definitely would vote guilty because I've been through that, and screw this guy. And so it seems that a couple of the jurors of color, black and brown people that got up, had said certain things to the effect of, he looks too young. One guy actually said, I couldn't imagine putting a brother behind bars. This is why people were refused from the jury by the prosecution. I'm sure the defense probably wanted as many people of color on the jury as possible, but I guess they ran out. If the prosecution would have run out of challenges before they ran out of black potential jurors, I think they would have seen a black juror on there, but it didn't happen. So how important is this? Well, I tend to believe, from what I've seen, this is my own opinion, that black jurors feel more compelled to vote based on race in some way, shape, or form in the case. That they might take that into consideration in lieu of evidence, testimony. It's just what I've seen. The OJ trial, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. Call up. Give me some instances where that did not happen. That's fine and dandy. I will listen to anything you have to say. But from what I've seen over the course of the years, and the OJ trial, we saw witnesses or jurors come forward and say, oh, yeah, we voted not guilty because of what had happened with the police and Rodney King and the riots. That's a racially motivated vote that the jury, at least a few members of the jury, gave. And there is actually a statistic about white jurors on a case that, as opposed to black jurors on a case when the defendant is black or white. And white jurors have a much more consistent rate of acquittals and convictions over whether the defendant is black or white than black jurors do. Their decisions show that they acquit black people at a higher rate than white people would over a number of cases. So, hey, it happens. It happens. It's part of the world we live in. So that's a point of contention, that there aren't any black jurors on this trial. And I'm sure if he's convicted, they're going to use that as a topic, a reason for an appeal, that they didn't have a fair jury because there were no people of color on the jury. So, I mean, it could work in his favor. They will get an appeal. It'll happen. But, all right, your calls, a lot more. You got to take another quick break, but this is heating up. We'll talk about this and other stories just starting here right after these words.
Thanks for listening to the Anthony Cumia Show. You can hear the Anthony Cumia Show Sunday nights at 8. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?